Hello everyone. In this video I will be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Imran Riaz Khan to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let us go through the key developments and insights in Imran Riaz Khan's words. There is a great deal of speculation about the meeting between Mr. Asim Munir and Donald Trump. Indian media reported it, and some other sources are also claiming this. However, the news has not yet been confirmed that the United States wants bases in Pakistan. Look, this has been an old wish of America, that whenever it gets into a conflict with someone, everyone should support it. But this time the situation is not that simple. When Imran Khan, the former Prime Minister, said absolutely not, his government was toppled afterward. Since then, any regime in Pakistan will find it very difficult to say absolutely yes. Any cooperation now would have to be covert. Like what happened in the case of Ukraine, Pakistan's military establishment or government allegedly supported the United States by supplying weapons to Ukraine. But this was done secretly, not openly. Because Imran Khan had publicly said absolutely not, they could not do it openly. If they had, it would have caused massive backlash, especially as Imran Khan's popularity was already sky high. So, Imran Khan has created a very difficult precedent for future rulers by the strength and courage with which he ran his foreign policy. Now, regarding the meeting between Asim Munir and Donald Trump, we do not know exactly what was discussed. We only know what Donald Trump has shared. Indian media has reported some things, including outlets with names that sound European or American, but upon investigation I found they are actually all Indian media outlets. Indian media is saying that the United States is asking Pakistan for bases. However, I do not think that is accurate. According to one of my own sources, what might be happening is intelligence sharing, especially related to Iran, which the United States could need significantly from Pakistan. That is what I have been told, but beyond that I have no concrete information yet. We are waiting to see what the American media will report about this. Now, as for what Donald Trump said, he raised 2 or 3 points. First, he thanked Asim Munir for avoiding war with India. America is saying, "Thanks for not going to war, we are making Asim Munir a field marshal." But actually what Pakistan referred to as war was not a full-fledged war, it was more of a skirmish or conflict between the two countries. Those who know the history of wars know that it was more of a clash, not a full-scale war. America's perspective on war differs from Pakistan's. Inside Pakistan, the situation was already tense. There was a distance between the armed forces and the public. So managing that tension, this opportunity was used. Asim Munir was made field marshal. Another important thing Trump said was that Pakistan understands Iran very well. He possibly meant that Pakistan has known Iran closely for many years. This can have 2 implications. Pakistan's intelligence could be very useful to the United States regarding Iran. Asim Munir may have shared some significant insights about Iran with Trump that surprised him, things Trump was not aware of before. Look, regional countries usually know more about each other. Since Pakistan's military is a strong regional force, they likely have critical intelligence. It is possible they shared something that led the United States to reconsider its stance. Look at how Donald Trump rushed back to Washington from Canada. It looked like an attack might be imminent, but then no such major decisions were taken. Now we are hearing that the United States will decide within 15 days. A White House spokesperson briefed that Trump will make a decision regarding Iran within 2 weeks. The fact that they are taking 2 weeks means the United States is preparing for certain actions, waiting for some developments and trying to avoid others. Let me explain what this means. But first, another point Trump made. He said Asim Munir agreed with him on the Iran matter. Trump said this categorically and clearly. Now, what might they agree on? Obviously, whatever Trump believes, that is likely what they agreed on. Here are Trump's views. Iran has no justification for having nuclear weapons. Iran should not have long-range missiles. Trump believes Iran promotes terrorism in the region and supports terrorist organizations. He believes Iran's current regime is a major threat and should be replaced. Alternatively, Iran should sign a deal similar to the one during Obama's time, pledging not to make nuclear weapons. So America wants total surrender, no nukes, no long-range missiles. On the missile issue, Iran will not agree, and they should not. Given the current situation they are facing, if Iran did not have missiles, they would have been brought to their knees. They do not have a strong air force or defensive systems. Their enemy is attacking from 2,000 kilometers away. How could they possibly respond? Iran became capable of retaliation only because it had long-range missiles. Since the recent attack, Iran has activated its missile system 14 times. That is 14 rounds of missile strikes, 2 to 3 rounds per day. They are using highly advanced missiles and are claiming that some of their most powerful ones have not even been deployed yet. Iran's current leadership, including Ayatollah Khamenei, has repeatedly stated they will not surrender, will not lay down arms, and will fight even if America joins the war. Whoever comes will have to face the consequences. These are the big questions now. Why has America asked for 2 weeks? That is significant. First, the United States wants to see if Iran is ready to strike a deal. Talks have been scheduled in Geneva with European countries. Britain, Germany and France had extended the offer. Germany and the British Prime Minister even told Trump to stay calm and not act impulsively. France and Germany are also trying to reason with him. Iran has agreed to talk with them. Iran is also ready to talk with the United States. But Trump knows, and Iranian leadership knows, that if the United States attacks Iran, talks will no longer be possible. Those familiar with Iranian society understand this very well. So the United States is waiting. Either Iran strikes a deal and Trump can take credit for preventing a war, proving he is a peacemaker, not a warmonger. Trump is also aiming for a Nobel Peace Prize, so he will try to stop this war before it even begins. His goal will be to reach some final outcome so that American forces do not have to enter this war. Secondly, if America does decide to get involved in the war, then it will obviously need time to transport its weapons, to devise its strategy, and to make extensive preparations. It has to send in a lot of equipment and possibly withdraw other resources. So if the United States is going to enter the war physically, it will need approximately 2 weeks to prepare. Another important thing, this war is not cheap, it is extremely expensive. Israel wants the United States to bomb Iran using B-2 bombers, but this is not a cheap endeavor. Just flying the aircraft costs around $500,000 per hour, and one such aircraft is worth around $2.1 billion, according to some reports. So the question arises, will America really bear this enormous cost in a war against Iran? And even if it does, will it achieve its intended objectives? That is a big question. Let us say, even if massive destruction happens, or the supreme leader of Iran is killed, another one will take his place. And it is possible the new leader could be even more hardline. No one can predict what will happen in the future. So, the United States will likely try to avoid this war. Another thing, during these 15 days, the United States is buying time. It is allowing Iran to fire off many of its missiles. Iran claims that even if they keep firing for 6 months, they would not run out. Another claim says their stockpile could last 2 years. They claim to have entire missile cities. However, common sense says that having thousands or millions of missiles is not realistic. There must be a limited stockpile that can only be used for a certain period. So, the United States probably wants Iran to exhaust as many of those missiles as possible. But in the process, Israel's missile defense capacity will also be severely exposed and possibly depleted. That is another strategic factor. The United States taking 2 weeks also gives Iran time to reflect, decide, negotiate, and potentially reach a productive deal. However, this would be a problem for Israel. Because Israel's goal is to change the regime in Iran permanently and eliminate any future threats, especially any support for the Palestinians. Practically, it is widely believed that Iran supports Palestinians more than any other Muslim country. That is why Israel is particularly angry with Iran and wants to corner it. Now, if Iran does not get cornered and manages to strike a deal, just as it did in 2015, then Iran will have achieved something despite the losses. Yes, Iran has lost more people, including soldiers, officers and scientists. Their nuclear sites have suffered, their economy has taken a hit. But Israel, a small country, has now experienced such intense attacks for the first time, and people have now realized that Israel is not invincible. That concept has taken a serious blow. So if America does not join this war, and Iran wisely negotiates a deal, then Israel will emerge as the loser. People will remember for years that Iran retaliated against Israel and then secured a deal. Donald Trump, on the other hand, will walk away in a win-win situation. But Israel will face difficulties because it wanted the United States to launch a massive direct attack on Iran. Now, a major new development has taken place. Why can't America take military action right now? Let us understand that. America has around 20 military bases in the Middle East. 8 of these are permanent in countries like Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Jordan and Iraq. The rest are temporary or rotating bases where 40 to 500 United States troops are stationed, although these numbers are not always confirmed. These bases house significant weapons stockpiles because most conflicts America fights are in this region and reinforcements are sent from here. American naval fleets are also stationed nearby, but here is the crucial point. Most of these bases are within Iran's missile range. Iran will definitely retaliate if attacked. Now, the most important point, the countries hosting these United States bases have issued a joint declaration supporting Iran and opposing Israel. This is huge and has not been discussed enough. It means that the countries providing ground for United States bases are not aligned with the United States right now. They have publicly backed Iran. This was not the case during the 1991 Gulf War. The situation is completely different now. At that time, the United States had full support for its attack on Iraq. Now, the narrative is that Israel attacked first, and Iran is simply responding. Iran is also publicly stating that it has no plans to build nuclear weapons. It is only pursuing nuclear energy. There have been reports from the IEA and even the CIA supporting this view, though later they were dismissed. Still, the countries hosting United States bases, especially Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates and Qatar, have signed investment deals with the United States worth $2.5 trillion. Donald Trump had recently visited these countries and he returned with massive investments. So Trump not only has economic ties with these nations, but also military dependency. His bases are located there. Therefore, he cannot afford to go against their will and start a one-sided military campaign. This is a key point that has been overlooked. Now comes an important statement from the President of China. Chinese President Xi Jinping had a conversation with Putin, the Russian president. They condemned Israeli attacks on Iran and demanded an immediate ceasefire to de-escalate the crisis. Xi Jinping proposed some important suggestions, emphasizing that dialogue is the only solution. He called on all parties to follow international laws and avoid harming innocent civilians. He also said that countries with influence in the region should play a role in bringing about a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. Finally, an important statement came from Javad Sharif, former foreign minister of Iran. He said, "Buildings can be destroyed, but knowledge cannot be eliminated, especially when 90 million patriotic and loyal citizens are standing together." He added that Iran did not start this war, but Iran will decide how it ends. These are the updates coming in from time to time, and I have been sharing them with you. Now, dear viewers, I want to seek your permission. I may not be able to post for the next 2 or 3 weeks, as I have a minor surgery pending. Because of that, you may not hear from me for a few days. That wraps up our translation of Imran Riaz Khan's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Do not forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.